So I pitch up, do a supersonic climb up, and he says, we got it, we got it, we got it. That white light at 3 miles goes out of sight within less than 2 seconds.
And right there was something that stuck out like a sore thumb, especially with jungle terrain, things like that, vegetation, very green stuff, was something that stuck out so well. It's always going to be basically imprisoned in my mind for the rest of my life, and it has been for 14 years, was something that was rotating, and it was transitioning between colors like a light matte gray, as well as a dark matte black. So in between, that's what it kept, and it was very smooth.
In July of 2001, I was observing a live fire practice at a level from an observation deck at approximately 3 stories high from the desert floor. I saw a craft in the distance at approximately 200 feet off the ground, measuring approximately 172 feet across, strongly resembling a hovering B-2 Spirit. Upon first glance, my eyes were adjusting to the darkness. I could see 7 lights in a V shape.
The first thing that I could see were a few personnel connexes to the right in a large hangar, maybe 3 times the size of the area that we're in now. There was a monolithic slab directly in front of me that was being held up by nothing. The closer that I got to this slab, I felt an intense vibration inside of my body. I never felt anything like that before in my life, never anything since, but it left no sound. The loudest thing in that room was the silence and the footfalls of the people in front of and behind me.
Vehicle detection. We're learning that these off-world craft, on-world craft, ours or other nations, are also emitting neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment that nobody's discussing. In addition to the ability to detect neutrinos and the exotic vehicles, I have provided documentation that shows that this is also a system for faster than light communications. In the past, Gary McKinnon has hacked NASA, found the off-world fleet, the list of captains, and it's apparent that if we have faster than light vehicles moving throughout this system, we're going to need faster than light communications. This is that facility.
I really wish you could see what I've just been watching. That's Lee dancing in the bottom of the screen to the channel tune. He loves it. He loves it. He embraces his own shit. That's what I like. That's what I like. Just like Greer, he embraces it as well. Wow, that was a long intro. I didn't realize that, but there was a lot. There was a lot of people. There was a lot of people talking about aliens, UFOs, and all that jazz. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Alien Addict on this fine and whatever evening. Stu Little,
Good
Lee,
evening.
Howdy.
and the Underbelly. How you doing, boys?
Oh, good.
Good, man.
Stoned.
48 hours, Oliver.
48 hours before we are murdered.
Oh dear.
Have you got the ear tags in the bags, guys? Yeah.
Oh, on each limb. My band's worried about me. I had a small group chat with them earlier, and one of them was saying, I'll read you verbatim what it said. My bass player Glenn said, "When do you go away to Crazy Dave's death house, Lee?" I said, Monday, mate. Susie gets to give me the last rites in Liverpool before I go, as I'm on the same boat as my singer as we go out there. Glenn replies, "You will never be forgotten." Susie, should we just practice at mine this Wednesday, and we can think about new drummers? To which I reply, "This feels like I've already been forgotten." Glenn replies, "No, never." I said, "Oh, good. The new drummers are for somebody else then." Glenn, "Yes, obviously." "Good, because I'm going to be okay, aren't I?" Glenn replies, "Of course you're going to be okay, Lee. Like, I'm better than okay." Glenn replies, "You're going to be great. I'm sure everything's going to work out fine. Drum machines are a good shout for your replacement."
Dave can't make this evening. I think he's back to his usual Friday.
Something about sharpening knives.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He's getting the torture room ready.
What is degloving?
Have you seen
What's
Pulp
what?
Fiction? The Gimp.
Degloving.
Degloving.
Oh.
I like that, Stu. Send for the gimp.
I think so. This week, the Sunday show, we discussed this earlier, Lee. We're going to move that probably to Monday.
Yeah, we can do it on each other's laps.
Yeah, because Lee's going to be here. I just realised I've only got one chair.
It's awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. I don't mind you standing.
I'll just stand here. It's fine. You couldn't stand because of how tall you are.
Oh, you'd just be looking at my cock. That's all you'd be doing is just looking at my cock for 2 hours.
A bit like
See,
Brent with Greer.
Your head says no, but your body says yes.
He's a tall guy, is Greer. Next to the cousins. I think the cousins
they're just small.
I think they're average.
4.5 feet.
Yeah. He's a 6-footer. He's definitely a 6-footer. He's got broad shoulders, and he's probably the same height as I am.
He's a big guy. Guy. Big business.
There's a lot of fucking bullshit to fit in that vessel.
Ooh, he didn't go there. How tall are you? 6 foot. I was wondering. I didn't know they stack shit that high. No.
So let's go right back to. I don't know if you've rewatched the original Disclosure project that was back. Was it back in 2000, Stu, or 2001?
2001. It was in May, so it was like a few months before that incident with the towers happened. So that kind of stole his thunder for that year.
What did you guys make of the first one back then?
Didn't see it back then. It was like years later.
Yeah, I found about years later.
Yeah, maybe.
How long after though?
the only thing that got derailed more than Greer was George Carling there.
For me, about a decade, but 10 years later, 2011, I think I watched it.
Has anybody ever been on the Greer train?
To be honest, I was.
I've been totally on that Greer train, and like to the point where I own like pretty much all of his documentaries. I haven't got the recent one. I will buy the recent one. I've not watched the recent one yet. Should have done. I know UFO channel, whatever.
Best.
Yeah. I'm sure it's amazing.
But I was a big Greer fan. I really was a massive.
Joe, what? I was on board for minutes because I saw the Disclosure Project, but after it happened, obviously, because I don't think I had the internet back then. Maybe it was just in that time of getting the internet because it was the whole like.
Did they even have phones?
No, but we had pigeons that were really good at carrying notes.
Right.
But it was the towers that and a funny thing happened on the way to the moon that made me a conspiracy theorist. Essentially,
we so need to talk about those towers on Rockfin.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm down.
But the thing was, what got me confused with Greer.
Rockfin.
There's no show tonight, by the way, because we couldn't record one because we've been prepping to go to America. So there's no Rockfin show this evening.
But it's probably going to be a Rockfin on Dave's knee.
Yeah, there'll be a Rockfin next week, definitely.
What's that place called again?
Rockfin.
Okay. Just so I got it.
Oh,
Guys,
we hit 10,000 subscribers.
Yes, and you're heading for 11.
Hit
Yeah.
the like, people. Hit that thumbs up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Last week, thumbs up was amazing, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Boom to you guys.
So what happened with me and Greer is I watched the obviously again, like we said, after the fact, I watched Disclosure Project. Thought, oh, this is a very interesting. Then I kept hearing, like, watching interviews with him as being interviewed, Dr. Stephen Greer, and I'm Dr. Stephen Greer. Then I found out much later on, and this is nothing disparaging towards medical doctors. Obviously, we need them; they're all very smart people. I felt when Greer started doing his stuff that David, you finished sharpening your knives.
He's polished the gimp suit.
You should be so lucky.
He's gonna give us a fucking blunt knife.
Spoon.
And a rusty spoon.
Rusty blunt spoon. I feel that when Greer started out, he was always like, the doctor thing was pushed really hard, but the fact that he was just an ER doctor and not like an astrophysicist or something like that was kind of kept quiet. Do you know what I mean? I felt like he weaponized his doctorate, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was head of traumatology. I have not got proof yet, but I'm digging. But I don't think he was head of traumatology.
I mean, some of those documentaries are pretty fucking traumatic.
That's true.
So we just saying, Dave. The question was, if anybody remembers the original disclosure project when Greer was stood in front of whereabouts was he now, Stu?
Press Club.
Washington.
That's the one.
Washington D.C.
The original one.
Yep, around the corner from the Lincoln Memorial in the White House.
I used to be a Greer fan. I still like him. Don't get me wrong. I do think there's a big grift to that guy, but I don't dislike it. I think he's definitely selling those tickets, But back in the day, I had a lot of faith in the guy. I'm just wondering and asking these guys when you came in, if anybody was ever on that train where I trust Greer, I like him. You've never been on that train. No. Just me then.
I definitely don't like him.
I was on it for a while.
He doesn't strike me as a nice person. I think you can see the way, obviously he had Blake or Brent, I can't remember which one it was, running around like a lapdog when they're interviewing him. But it's just the way that he would. I realized
he's a narcissist.
He would just cut in. He would just talk over any available opportunity, and you can tell there's something really weird because this goes back to Blake or Brent's video this morning. The one where I think we're going to talk about the video later, aren't we? Yeah. There was one part in that, not to talk about give away what we're going to talk about, but where Blake or Brent put their hand on his shoulder and then instantly winced and took the hand away really quickly, and it was like one of those, we're friends. Oh no, we're not friends. Sorry, Mr. Greer. And you saw a genuine wince and are like, I've took this too far, which leads me to believe that Mr. Greer might be a fucking bellend. If you wince when you put your hand on someone, because that was clearly like that. I think it's Blake in it. That was clearly like a sign of respect and a sign of wanting to be involved with someone. That was genuine human contact. That was all. So I think he might have got carried away, but you saw the look on his face as if he go, I might have overstepped the line here. Oh, yeah, it was very, very fucking strange.
I think there was a conversation after. Never touch me again.
Yes.
I think
as soon as sorry, I was just going to say, as soon as the camera went off, he's like, Get me my wash, boy. Wash my shoulder.
I was going to say, I don't think the Cousins brothers would be having anything to do with the guy if they weren't making money from him.
Yeah.
And they're probably not making that much because just by the nature of how he operates, he gets everybody doing everything as a volunteer
Yes.
for free.
For exposure.
And Cambian's always big on that. I mean, and supposedly he generated $600,000 for that the latest documentary there. I'll tell you right now, it would not cost $600,000 to produce.
No.
50, 60, 90 tops a push.
Jennifer Siami, who's often in the chat, she's been on the show. There's an interview with her. She briefly worked a pro bono case for Greer. Well, I say briefly, she did it for quite a while. She did some pro bono.
Is that the woman with the long hair?
She has got long hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
From the UK, she did a lot of pro bono work for.
Remember
for
that
Greer.
interview?
Yeah. And there was some stuff that she was concerned about as well when it came to caring about people. So yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, should we actually, if while we're on it, because we are on the Blake and Brent's recent thing, do you want to present what you've got? Because none of us have seen it here, Stu. You asked us earlier. Do you want to see what I've found? And we all said no. Save it for the show.
Okay, let's hope I don't end the broadcast.
So I can play it. I can play it. Don't you hit anything?
No, I'm just looking for it so that I know what to tell you what it is.
And we're done.
There we go. Yeah.
I've got it.
It's right at the bottom.
Right
Dr.
at
Greer
the bottom.
top
Yeah. So
scoring
do you
on.
want to give us a little?
It's basically it's Third Face's video. I don't think they maybe put one out this morning, but it's like from the other day, and it's directly after they've obviously had done the press club thing, and it's at the Lincoln Memorial, and I just have huge issues with what they're saying. But anyway, what I've done is just cut up a few snippets from the sort of first maybe 6-7 minutes of the video. I didn't do the whole video because we would be here for 5 or 6 hours talking about it. But
it's just over 3 minutes.
Do we get to see the hand jive in this?
You might well do. I'm not sure.
Oh, I hope so. Because I didn't notice that. Right. Shall I hit it?
Look out for it, guys. Look out for it, because they were born to hand jive, baby.
Oh, you also want to you'll know the bits, but you want to pause it.
You can't pause in StreamYard.
Can you not pause in StreamYard?
No.
All right, we'll let it roll then.
Most guys $1 billion. $1 billion. Yes.
One of those are $1 billion?
Yeah, they're about $1 billion each.
One of those are $1 billion?
Yeah, they're about $1 billion each.
National Press Club just wrapped, but we're just talking moments ago in regards to, interestingly enough, what was going on at the same time of the National Press Club. Go on and explain what your theory is on this. It's quite interesting.
Well, from what I'm hearing from both media people and insiders, is that there was a drop of this Las Vegas alien in the backyard that had happened over a month earlier that came out that week. David Grutch, who told me he was going to come out at the end of June. Came out right before, which pulled a lot of that over in that direction. Now he's talking about, alien invasions and, murdering, UFOs murdering humans and all that stuff, which is of course completely not true. Although everything else he said was. And then you had the Trump indictment.
A turning point in U.S. history. Former President Donald Trump departing the courthouse as a federal criminal defendant.
And all of that happening, that seemed to be timed too conveniently.
Bullshit detectors, take precautions.
So, and what I've heard from some of the major media people is that we can't cover this because we're doing this, right? Now, this is the sort of thing that people who can pull those levers. And remember what Bill Colby said when back in the 70s when he said, I'm paraphrasing, but we have the quote, you have it from the presentations. The CIA, quote, owns anyone of significance in the media, owns. So at a certain level of media, there is this kind of corruption. I will say something. This RICO action that we're heading up civilian, if that can be further proven, then we would be able to roll up these corrupt media entities into the RICO. They would be liable as co-conspirators in criminal activities. But by the way, so with the tech platforms, what do I mean? So someone who is an influencer, had 500,000 followers, was trying to stream the National Press Club event. TikTok put up a warning, took the whole broadcast down, and said, this is misinformation, and blocked it. Now, I've heard that's happened on a number of people's channels. To quote from the letter from the head of the Arlington Institute when he was setting up my meeting with the CIA director, will do everything in their power to stop what we're doing, quote unquote. It's in the letter. Read it. And so I say, yes, of course, that's the case. This is the biggest secret in the history of the world, and certainly of a very powerful industrial and financial interest. So this information coming out is completely a game changer, because all of a sudden, what happens if every person in the world have 0 point free energy that we talk about in the lost century?
Do you think that it looks like, so actually looking at Blake's face, he actually looks like he's kind of like saying, oh my God, really?
Yeah, I thought that.
He does, doesn't he? Is it just me? Blake looks like he's actually going, for fuck's sake, this is crazy. This guy's talking so much shit.
I think he's just self-conscious, to be honest.
Who, Blake?
Yeah, and I don't think he's a good enough actor to do the job Greer wants him to do.
What job does Greer want him to do?
He wants him to be the documentary maker that hangs off his words and makes him look legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
And brings him coffee.
Maybe brings him coffee. And Sunday.
Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for the boys that they've got the job with Greer. I think that's great. I spoke to. I think I spoke a little bit about it when I had Secure Team 10 Tyler on, and he said that Greer is very. He wants to push his narrative, and that's the way. That's just the way it is. It's a business. Yeah. And I think Blake and Brent, as much as everybody gives them shit, I think they see it as a business. I think they probably believe some of the stuff that's going on in the UFO world, but they definitely see it as a business, and that's their thing. Yeah. So good luck to them on that. I can't fault them on that.
Well, anything that you're making a living from and you're putting yourself into it is a business.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I work with people all the time that I wouldn't interact with.
Well, is there any? I get that. That I get, but I see what Lee's saying, and I kind of agree with that.
I detected a lot of sexual tension.
What with Greer?
Oh, Greer and the cousins. Yeah, I think 20 minutes, Motel 6. I can work that out.
You just don't want Greer's mouth anywhere near you. Have you seen the size?
Depends on the money.
Did you see that jaw bite on him? No, that jaw bite, man.
How much money is that?
Jesus Christ, he's going to take a big chunk out of you, man.
I can stand to lose it. Everything's got a price.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
So yes, 75.
At some point,
he
jacked the test in, didn't he? At some point, Greer jacked the test in, and it was a bad move. Probably should have just kept riding that, I think.
How do you get 75 million to 1 billion?
I think what it is, and I'm not sticking up for the guy, but the original research and development costs for the V-22 where they blew out of control. They went from like 30 billion to like 230 billion because they had all sorts of problems with the platform. And when it was first tested and like when it got to the evaluation stages, there was crashes. It's a lot more stable now. I mean, the thing's been flying for 30 years.
Mhm.
And, you know, they can literally, you know, drop these helicopter sort of VTOL platforms into water like you can with a Chinook. Pull, you know, SEAL teams out of the water and get back up in the air. They're really, really stable now. But it did cost, but even taking that into account, if you, there's, I think I researched it, yeah, there's 400, they made roughly 400 aircraft. So if you divide 400 into the 200 and whatever billion it was, it only comes out to X million. I think it was just under 90 million something per unit. So even if he was working on those terms of taking into account the research and development, you know, it still wouldn't be a billion per. The V20, the F-22 didn't cost that, and that's a much more complicated platform.
Why do you think he made such a big jump, though?
Because you can't say, because 100 million doesn't sound like enough. And you can't say a million because that's not enough. So you just say a billion now. I don't think you put any thought into it. He just threw a number out.
Yeah, no, it's pure bollocks, bullshit, hyperbole, whatever you want to call it. He just farted out a number out of his mouth. And
you know what's interesting?
You hear on the thing, Blake goes, nah. Then Brent, right behind him, goes, a billion? As if, you know, giving credence to what we were saying. It's a lot of crap, you know.
He's probably counting on people not really knowing the difference between a million and a billion. When you think about it, you know, the difference between a million and a billion is about a billion.
Yeah. It's
Give
a
or
lot.
take a couple million. It's a lot.
But no, he's just, yeah, I mean, it's just a great example of the absolute nonsense that comes out of his mouth.
Well, doesn't that show to you? Well, doesn't that show that maybe he's such a great showman that he just knows to answer? He just knows to answer questions on the hop and just throw out anything out there that hopes it would stick.
Yeah, he's on the same lines as Trump, P.T. Barnum. You know, I mean, you can love or hate Trump, but the guy knows how to market himself.
Oh, he's an absolute showman, yeah.
And spin things up. You can't take that away from him. I mean, he's literally been relevant for the last 30, 40 years. And the fact that he got to the presidency just says, oh, you know, folk believed in him, but and still do. But it's the same as back to when P.T. Barnum was doing his thing.
Moody. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, so he's full of shit.
Moody in the chat has a warning for Ollie and Lee. And I agree with you. Welcome to the show. That guy has some big ass bite, man. He's does anybody ever did anybody ever say that Greer could be a reptilian? Has anybody ever said that? Or is that
I think how old is Greer?
63, something like that.
Wow.
Is that
wow.
He's either 63 or 67.
He's looking good for his age, man. I'll give him that, man.
My dad's 75. He looks better than Greer.
Really?
Yeah,
he's got a good bod. He's got a.
Yeah, my dad's 71. He's
calm down.
It's weird that you notice that, but okay.
So we've established that everything's Greer's got a massive grift to him.
Totally.
Just a grift. How are you looking at, Ollie? Just his massive grift.
Just his massive grift. Yeah. How does he get?
I think he meant girth.
How does he get these people to come and talk about UFOs? Is it money?
Maybe.
Do you think that's what he's done, or do you think he's manipulated them, or do you think something may have happened with some of these witnesses?
Oh, you talking about when he gets other people to roll out and talk?
Well, the intro you've just seen hidden, those were the people at the conference. So So I'm just wondering.
I don't think he'll pay them a bean. I think they'll obviously get their hotel and food and all
good
that
meal.
covered. A good meal, he'll smooth them. But I think it's the fact that he's leaning on the fact that they want to tell their story.
Right. So these people, you do. So are we establishing, Stu, there that you're saying these people do have a story and they do believe the story that they're telling?
Oh yeah, I don't think any one of them's up there bullshitting for Greer.
Right. Do we believe Grush?
Totally on the fence with him.
Right. Because what I mean, I think it's very easy to separate Grush from the people that got up on the with Stephen Greer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, if Greer had got his way, Grush would have been up there.
But this is what I mean. But realistically, they're the same.
Yeah.
They've got the same backgrounds. They're just as qualified. They have just as much point.
Grush definitely has more potential in terms of the clearances he's had, what he's done.
He's also more marketable as well. I think he's a better public speaker.
But whether or not his story is actually true is we're all waiting here with bated breath. But
why is there more to come?
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah,
really.
I think you'll see another 3 whistleblowers.
So he's done two. What would you call it? 2 explosive interviews, and nothing has come from that.
He's done one. We saw parts of one, and then we saw the full one.
And then
so that was
he
one.
talked to a French newspaper, I think, on the record as well.
What, on camera?
No.
I
Just,
was going to say, I've not seen
it's
that.
just an article. I briefly saw it. So, I mean, that's another thing that he's actually...
How long ago was that article written?
I think it went roughly live the same time as, the run-up to his main interview. I think it was like a day or 2 after the debriefs.
See what makes those guys more believable with that? See, the thing about the grifters, I explained the game because I'm an entertainer. I'm not a grifter. I'll tell you straight, I'm an entertainer. What you do is you're playing a little bit of truth with a little bit of lies.
Yeah.
Now, if he's got these people on, they possibly could be telling a true story. I didn't catch that. I'd like to see what they're saying more, but I didn't catch that. Now, he can sit there because everybody's blown away. First, it's like the compliment sandwich. They come in, they meet Greer, he gets to introduce himself, tell you about the show, and then bang, he brings these people on. Now, those people would have blown away the audience, man. So then they're listening on bated breath or whatever thing he wants to pump. Do you get what I mean? If he's got his new documentary coming out, he's going to talk about that where he'll say, we're talking about, and he'll try and make the story go along with what they're saying. That's how I would do it if I had that platform and if I wanted to be an entertainer. But you all would know that because I would say everything I'm saying is for entertainment purposes.
I'd like to bring something up really quickly.
Sorry, thank you.
No. It's not to interrupt, just because we're on this. And this is something I think everybody. Again, this is a Rockfin thing for more depth. But a friend of the show and a friend of ours on Twitter, Browse Mode, was watching the Greer presentation, and she's the only person I've seen clock this yet, and absolutely, I might be wrong. Other people might have done. If I am, well done to you. I didn't clock it. One of the witnesses that came forward was wearing a World Economic Forum badge.
Yep.
I didn't clock that. That's smart.
Me
What's the
neither.
typing?
It's the compass with the G in the middle of a Masonic tie badge. Right. I'm not being funny. I'm enough of a conspiracy theorist that if someone's going to get up with a World Economic Forum badge on, I don't give a fuck what any of them says. It's all bullshit, and none of it is for our benefit.
Yeah. The,
But yeah,
some,
thanks for that,
Yeah,
Brad. I didn't never see him.
my
Thank you
BS
for that.
radar's hitting high now as well.
Well spotted, man. Well spotted. I think somebody here is Sherlock Holmes because something is afoot.
Yeah.
Thank you. Every single person.
So
during that operation in
This one?
Quezon in the Philippines,
Yep.
they had actually.
he has
heard
one of the
a
most
tsunami
outlandish
and
stories.
earthquake hit the western part of Sumatra, which is western Indonesia, Padang City more specifically.
He's the kind of guy you throw into
Out of all
discredit
the
everyone
ships in
else.
the 7th Fleet, the ship I was on was the only one that was
But
routed to that location.
sorry, I'll just
Oddly
pause that for a
strange,
second. It's
but-
not to look at
And again,
anything,
this-
so there's no other words going on. But right,
We all talk shit every now and then.
but if everyone, right, if we accept, yeah, and I think sometimes people that are into UFOs need to accept they're conspiracy theorists and they don't really realize it.
they don't want to admit it, Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a
But-
big conspiracy.
I know that's a
theorist.
good one. I hadn't spotted that at all.
But I'm not being funny though. If you're gonna get
It's
on
just
stage,
Freemason.
no, you can keep the fucking
It's-
Freemason thing.
That's I'm with you. It's the world
It's the
economic.
it's the
the other ones.
WEF
The World
badge.
Economic Forum badge, yeah.
They
The
are
other
the
one.
fucking devils. And I don't even think that's like hyperbole. I think if they aren't the devils, I think the devil might be actually involved with them. The thing is, if you're going to get up and do a thing about UFOs, where only conspiracy theorists are going to watch, and you've got the balls to wear a WEF badge, you don't give a fuck. That is such a gangster move. That's like, I'm going to do this. You're going to watch me. You're going to fucking agree with me. And little do you know, everything you stand
Where it's
against,
coming
I
from.
fucking represent.
Where it's coming from, where the true narrative is coming from.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
You know what though, man? I'm a conspiracy theorist. So, who was that person that spotted that on Twitter?
Browse mode on Twitter. She is worth a follow.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
she's great. Yeah.
You know what? Good catch, man. Good catch from that. Good catch.
She's not in the chat. She's usually in the chat on Sundays. She's not in the chat this evening.
I remember her. Yeah. Good catch, man.
Did you see? And I mean,
I wouldn't have spotted it. Sorry.
I don't want to say anything like negative against these guys, especially when people.
World Economic Forum badge.
No. I'm not on about this guy.
These are the fuckers that would have locked us up, Ollie.
Yeah,
You know
I
what?
don't agree with that. But what I'm saying is, I don't. For the rest, there's one of the guys that I want to come to, and
come on, the way you're going.
he looks absolutely like terrible.
Yeah, he looks.
It looks like you're too late. He's already beaten you to it.
He looks ill. See when you watch him like finish up and go back to his seat, they had to help him. I don't know what's up with him, but he looks ill.
Yeah, you know the guy. You know
He's seen some shit, man.
Take it off that picture. It's a bad picture.
No, keep that. Just keep it there for a second. I was just gonna say the the Nazi from Raise the Lost Ark when he touches the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh no.
But this guy, I mean, I listened to this whole. I listened to it all in the car while I was driving. The first time I listened to it, and I didn't watch it. And I thought I want to go back and watch this guy because I didn't understand why he was reading it all out. And then when I looked at him, I thought, God, this guy actually does look like he's been through hell and back.
I for one hope he finds the precious.
I like the last guy. The last guy kind of looked like he strangled kittens and puppies for fun in his spare time. Can you click back to him? You look at him just staring ahead.
Do you not think you look like a younger version of Lou Elizondo a wee bit? The stocky build.
He's seen shit.
No, the guy in the back, the last guy with the World Economic Forum pin.
Oh, he's not the last guy. He's like the
No, the last one we looked at. That guy.
Yeah.
Look at him.
We're
He's definitely strangled a kitten.
Yeah.
Looks like as a hobby.
Looks like he's doing it now.
Yeah.
Killed a few
Look at that guy.
Yeah. He caught him with the most shiftiest eyes.
He's jacked, bro.
He is jacked.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of the guy.
I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side
But-
of this
but it-
guy.
Yeah, he was shifty.
Looks a bit like Michael Bisping.
I would bet he's probably stolen a lot of copper.
I liked his story. I have to say, I liked his story just because it was just a
I
floating
think
monolith.
He was pissed off because Greer cut him short and told him he could only have a few minutes.
Yes.
Well, this is what annoyed me about the whole conference, because I sat down and I skipped through bits of it, to be fair. But I sat down in my living room, I was doing stuff, I had it on. And Greer rattled on for what, about half an hour, 40 minutes on his own?
Yeah, but that was him doing his...
Oh, yeah, he was doing his Greer bit, but I thought, isn't it weird how he sits there and he fucking talks for almost an hour, and then the supposed, like, whistleblowers get up, and they're on a short time scale.
Absolutely, 100%. It should have been, if this
He
is
got up,
this is- if
welcome
this
to
is
the press
thing-
club. Yeah, but he's a fucking narcissist.
We were speaking about you earlier,
Thank
Jen.
you.
Your work with Greer.
You guys, what do you need?
You get,
What-
I
debunk
get
everything.
it. Yeah. What do you need debunking everything? I mean,
Yeah, it debunks itself, though, Jennifer. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate your contribution to the show all the time, but if it's bullshit, you've got to say it's bullshit.
Jen's
Joe.
not big. Greer's biggest fan. You know, she's not a big. She's Jen did the work with Greer.
Yeah, I don't think she's sticking up for Greer there. I think she's basically saying what you need.
I agree with Doc's guys here. No mainstream media, only podcasters for World Shouting News.
I
The
agree.
entire event was scripted. I do as well. And this is the other thing I wanted to bring up. Like, I know you, Ollie, brought up before that you thought maybe the Grush thing came out to kind of like get in the way of this. I don't think it was to get in the way of it at all.
I said that before that I saw this.
Oh yeah,
Before
no.
I'll put my hands up and I will say this because I did say I think it was to both you and Dave. I may have even said it on the show. No, I don't think I did. I said that. I said, listen, boys, Grush has come in with this. It seems very fitting that Greer's about to, do his thing. Could Greer actually deliver the goods? And this is why Grush is there to kind of like muddy the waters. And also we have the Vegas thing as well. I was like, something maybe Greer's actually going to fucking deliver here.
What is anybody expecting Greer to deliver though?
You couldn't get. I mean, to be fair, you couldn't. That's as good as you could expect. Do you know what I mean? It's you've got a bunch of people which appear to be in the position that they could be in to learn these things. They get up, they talk, and then you have to go away, and then you decide whether you believe them or not. That's just it's just what it's there for.
Did these people come with any photographs, any footage, any
nothing?
Lots of drawings and
everything was
really
done by
bad
Michael
CGI.
Schratt.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that actually?
The fact that the artwork was fucking awful as well.
Yeah. Everyone was complimenting him, and I just love what Stephen Campion did.
Let's play that.
It was drawn by his good hand.
So yeah, Michael Schratt did the illustrations. I mean, I didn't think they were too bad.
Some of them were a bit.
I haven't seen them.
It was
They are laughable.
1940s comic books, 1940s war comics.
So that's all they turned up. They turned up with a story that if you choose to believe or not to believe, that's down to you.
Yep.
But no evidence that they even logged it in with
Same as
their
Grush.
superiors.
No, same as Grush. It was someone comes up with an interesting story, a story which is more interesting than boring life. And if you choose to believe it, it makes the world seem a little bit more fantastical. If you choose not to believe it, you're probably right.
See, the one thing that I'm interested in, but I don't know this David guy has said. I know nothing. I haven't heard him say anything. But I'm just curious, what did he say about the Vatican? If maybe we can touch upon that later.
Absolutely, yeah, we can get into that. So go ahead, Dave.
No, never mind. I was setting it up for a Catholic priest joke, but I let it go.
Keep it locked up.
I thought it better.
Locked and loaded.
Yeah. I mean, it'll come later. Just look
So this is what
you just keep that powder dry, Chief.
This is what truth seeker Stephen Camion had to say about
He didn't know the date of acquisition,
his artwork,
but he thought it was fairly recent. Next. He also was read into and had the chief to show him the location.
I can't believe I never spotted this. And
there's these illustrations in this thing, and you see that thing in the background? I think those are porta potties. I'm not sure, but I think they're porta potties. And according to these illustrations, there's these secret underground bases that are big enough for like hundreds of people to work in. And apparently they're so secret that the government just lets everybody park their car right outside the secret base. And listen, if you got to take a dump, there's porta potties. There's porta potties outside the secret underground bases. So if you got to listen, sometimes maybe you just got to, you're driving to work, you got to take a big dump, and maybe they don't have bathrooms in the underground secret alien bases where they're working on the alien spacecraft. They have such technology that they can back engineer alien spacecraft, but they can't figure out how to put a bathroom in that bitch underground. Instead, they got porta potties all along the back row. And this base is ultra top secret. It is housing the most secret things on planet Earth. The greatest secrets of the United States shadow cabal, black budget government, the deep state. It's the most secret base of the deep state. But we're going to put a row of like all these porta potties out there, and we're just going to let everybody park their cars right outside where you go into the secret base. And listen, they would not do that. There's Russian satellites that would pick this up in a minute.
I tell you, that's
class.
Whoever's done that as well. Is this one of Michael? Is this Michael Schratt's work?
Yeah, if it's Star LLC, it's Michael Schratt.
He's used AI there. He's used AI.
Yeah.
To do that.
You need to take that on the stage, Mr. Camion.
That's AI. He's done AI art there. That's AI art, and he's charged Greer for this.
And he's chose.
Don't be silly.
He's chose to put toilets there.
He'll not have been paid for it. That's just pushing it a bit.
But yeah, that's what inspired the thumbnail.
Now I get it.
Well, you said something interesting about that, Lee, though, earlier before the show when I said that and I was telling you about the porta potties.
I've got a picture to bring up.
Portaloo. It's a portaloo, not a potty. Yeah. Portaloo.
I could be completely off base here, but two things got me thinking this. The other one was when they tried to say that like the spaceships were bigger on the inside. I mean, like that's just ripping Doctor Who. They're trying to tell us there's fucking TARDISes now, and there was lots of this. I think lots of it borrowed from other previously, like put forward ufology and previous conspiracy theories. But when he started talking about the car park and the tunnels and stuff, now I'll stick this up, Ollie. I was lucky enough once to be invited to go to the McLaren Technology Center, which is this fine building here. And can I make that? Can I zoom in? No, I can't. So we'll go from here. So these like car parks, this here, these like circular things that you can see. There's another couple of these around here actually, but you can't see them on this photograph. And you turn up, you park your car there, you go to those, and you go into the building through underground, like basement corridors, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can show you. Is there any of the pictures here that have a?
Is there not a street view?
Probably not.
That's an
Sure.
yeah. Oh, we could do a street view, yeah. But you see that there, that here.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lift. So when they will have this year's car about here most of the time, and they'll have some other cars right down there. But essentially, when you come up through that lift, you're hit with the car, but you've got to walk a fucking good distance underground before you get into the building through the tunnels. I can't help feel that when he's trying to explain how people are getting into these deep underground military bases, it sounds a lot like when I went to the McLaren Technology Center, and I just think the bits borrowed from fucking everywhere.
Yep. There's more. There's more toilets though. Those
and
it's
clearly
quite
planes,
clear.
trains, and automobiles.
Absolutely. What's a plane doing underneath there?
Can we have their
What's a
names?
train?
Oh, of course not. But what we can get is, see, there's the entrance to the underground base. Looks like a little shed there next to the porta shitters. I'm sorry, I can't get over the porta potties.
Yeah, I'll give you the link, guys, in the chat for that. You can go check that out after the show. Obviously, give him a like. It's very funny.
It is ridiculous. Like the idea that isn't this why they have the Janet flights running in and out of Area 51 so they can bring people in and out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean the Janet flights also fly to other parts of the gun range.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just Area 51 they go to.
It's security at facilities like that. They work differently too. Like if you're actually, there's only so many parts you can actually drive into, right? Like, so you're a worker and you're cleared to go on to whatever site. There's certain order formations they put you into cars. That way they can kind of do a pre-clear, because if like they'll do it in certain number patterns, and if like only you know that pattern, and if there's 5 cars or there's 6 cars instead of 5 cars, that whole line gets frozen. Everything goes into lockdown, and they'll search every car. And they do that anyway. And so really what you have is people who work at off-built buildings that are off-site that usually take, and this is going to sound crazy, but they take taxis that are pre-approved and pre-cleared in cars that are totally sanitized. People jump in the taxi, and that's how they get on, and they go wherever they need to go.
But that's the same, like with Area 51, it's the bus. They get on the white bus at Rachel, and they get bussed in for those that do that. And everyone else who stays a bit further away gets a flight from McCarran Airport into the site.
Government security protocols are all pretty standard. They don't really vary. Like it's not because they work. Like they work, and so you don't change what works because you can't really beat it. It's extremely difficult.
Because the security out at Area 51, it's a private contractor, isn't it?
Every real security location is a private contractor because they don't have to operate by the rules of the military. In fact, that same contractor is contracted by the Department of Energy. And if you get into the who's running the contracts out there, like I believe the Air Force owns the land, but the Department of Energy runs it with their contracting crews, because the Department of Energy in the United States has the authority to their federal agents to shoot and kill on site, including law enforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
Believe it or
is
not,
then
that
bestowed
actually-
to their guards. It's
we have
crazy.
The nuclear constabulary here in the UK, and I photographed one of the sergeants who was retiring a while back at the nuclear power plant called Hunterston, which is like up the coast from us. And those guys they don't advertise it, but they pretty much can shoot on site if they feel they're a credible. If the person trying to breach is a credible threat, they don't mess.
Yeah, they don't play around. And
but in the UK, that's quite rare because obviously our police don't generally carry guns. I know we do have them, but not every copper's armed over here.
Yeah, but like security at facilities like that, it runs pretty standardly. There's not a ton of variation. It's because it works, and so them to like go to like what are you saying? Like a 1,300 square mile underground facility. Okay, let's say it exists. Where'd the dirt go?
Yeah, exactly.
That's an amazing volume of dirt. Like when they built the Denver airport, right? They moved, what was it, 2 or 3 times the amount of earth they moved when they built the Panama Canal. They built whole buildings and then just buried them with the dirt they excavated from other sites. So, like, we know where that went. Yeah, like they built. I mean, it's obviously something for continuity of government. Like that's clearly what's been built there. So if they did this out there, where'd all that extra material go? That is a monumental construction project that could not be hidden.
That raises a good point, because it will be the Corps of Engineers that would have done all that work in terms of any military establishment, surely. No,
they would run that through private contractors.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, militaries. So the Army Corps of Engineer would be open to FOIA. So like if you go to secret facilities, like, and the thing is, they're known. Like America has so many national labs, right? Those are all secret facilities. They don't bring in the Army Corps of Engineer to work on anything. They bring in contractors who have clearance, and those contractors will then hire contractors who then, like, it's kind of wild. And when Ollie and Lee come out, I'll get to introduce them to very interesting people. And I think it's one thing to explain it. It's another thing to meet it and have people who are more versed. Like, say you're building a secret underground vault to hide whatever. Cool. You're going to have someone on site to dig that hole who's trusted, who's vetted, who's cleared. It costs more. Cool. That will happen. But they never really complete the job. They usually swap out halfway through, maybe 2 or 3 times. And they're all told different things. Okay, that's normal. The guy who builds the vault door, interestingly enough, usually has no security clearance. It's usually some smaller firm that's around that's like, and they'll build it. They don't know what they're building it for. And you have lots of government guys that come around, and it's hilarious because nobody talks about what it's for. And they're giving you these ridiculous specs that you either can or can't beat, or it's bizarre. It's a bizarre situation and happening. And to do something like what he's proposing has happened. Like, do underground military bases exist? Absolutely. I totally believe that. There's a 1,300 square mile facility that can house multiple Boeing 757s. And I think you're asking a lot. Like,
that's
S4,
big.
That's big.
I think the other thing to think is it's not just housing those aircraft. So that's fine.
Yeah.
So what would be the reason to hide those aircraft? The reason to hide those aircraft will be that you'd want to be able to either land them or take them off from the facility. Yes. So then you need a runway inside that, underneath there. And then you need some sort of magical Batman type door that they can fly out of as well.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like Bob Lazar, love him or hate him, when he described the S4 facility, it makes me think he's been to a facility.
Fuck. I've just realized what's even more ridiculous about this.
What?
In one hand, Greer's telling us we've got 0 point energy and fucking UFOs. On the other hand, we need to put fucking 747s underground. That makes no sense with you spaceships. If you have the power to make fucking flying discs, you wouldn't be using fucking 747s all of a sudden.
I mean,
you'd be using your TR-3Bs and such.
Yeah, but obviously there it's Michael Schratt that's fucked up with the AI art.
Yeah,
you know, and Greer's not. He's not vetted it very well.
You know, Moody makes a good point. Maybe it's some kind of plasma drilling. That could very well be. I mean, I don't know much. I know the different contractors and dudes that I shoot with and do things with at workout where I live. They don't use anything like that. It's all pretty conventional.
Do you think that's AI? I don't think that's AI.
Definitely.
I think some of it he has used. Yeah.
I think that's drawn. I think that's drawn.
I don't know because so I have an AI tool that you can pick a style of drawing, and I think that's one of the style. I could be wrong. I mean,
I think he's
drawing. I mean, he's not a bad drawer if he's drawn. To be fair, I mean,
I'm a terrible artist. I can't draw, but I'm just saying I like. It just makes no sense. None of
the reason why I think it's AI is because some of the cars, for a guy who can draw, especially that red one. Look at that red one. Doesn't look like a car.
I think there's 2 points to this. I think it's 2 different AI artwork that he's might have photoshopped there to make it look like that. And I think the planes and the trains. I think that could be
automobiles.
And the automobiles. I think that could be. Well, I think that could be there for size comparisons.
At the end of the day, it's just
Maybe.
just a guy who's drawn some stuff up for Greer, but I
Wasn't
think
looked at properly.
yeah.
I like the porta potties because it kind of reminds me of Harry Potter, but like on a government scale. You know how the people go to work, like the Muggle bathrooms or whatever, and
yeah,
that's how they go to work there. They sit on the potty and they float down.
I think there's been a phone call between Greer and that artist, and at some point the artist's gone, "Yep, I'll have it right for you," and then he's gone to work.
I'll just add one more toilet.
And then he's got third face hassling him, so we ain't got time to vet the pictures.
Yeah. And another thing, a facility that big, you're going to have people that work there. We're going to, like, nothing is secret, right? Obviously, nothing is really secret. Like, people know, like, they may not know everything about it, but people know something. They know enough, and that always gets out. If you had a facility that big that's manned by that many people, you're not keeping everyone quiet. You're just not doing it. There's going to be rumors.
What's the place that was floating around YouTube not that long ago that they store like cheese and other dairy produce and have it?
You mean like the dehydrated milk and stuff? In the
Yeah.
That's I think that's in Kansas. Yeah, they've been doing that a long time.
Because that's really big.
It's huge. It's huge. It's an old mine. So
right.
Yeah.
Because one of the videos there was literally, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 articulated lorries, LGV, HGV, whatever you want to call them, just literally side by side, offloading stuff and moving stuff around.
Yeah, there's a quarry near my house that's massive and underground. You can see it going into the mountain, like as you drive by, where they get like, you know, Tennessee, I think it's like Tennessee marble or whatever. But
that's
like those things
definitely are getting buried.
No. I preserve. Yeah.
We do.
It's rare I get people so foolish, but you know, take what you get.
These guys are getting genuinely nervous, by the way.
They should.
I'll tell you what I'm nervous about, and I told Stephen Cambion this the other night. I'm nervous about needing to shit on a plane because I've got a phobia of public toilets.
Just go shit on a plane.
This is a new dynamic. Please continue.
Yeah. So just so you know, this room is the room I'm in right now. Is where you guys will be staying. There's a bathroom right there with no door. I just figured you were dudes and you'd be fine.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, that's
fine.
A
shy sphincter.
But public toilets, like if it's like on a train, a plane,
or an automobile.
I once had to go in London fucking train station toilets, and Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's not a good experience. Best of time.
I nearly had a heart attack. But yeah, it's just my thing. I don't know. I might take some. Somebody said take some. Is it Imodium or whatever?
No, never take Imodium. It's fucking awful stuff.
Right.
I once took him. This. I mean, I suppose we talk about Stephen Greer, so we can have a little conversation about shit. But the thing is, like, I once took Imodium. I didn't shit for a week. I felt terrible. That was awful.
And then you felt amazing, right?
No. It was horrible. I just didn't poop.
Don't worry, Dave can sort you out with an enema.
Oh yeah, we'll take care of that. Deep in your bowels.
At least it might be safe. You have to try it. Oh, so this is what Stonewall is. But
so we've established that Greer talks shit. His artist uses a lot of toilets, plastic toilets, everywhere.
Yeah.
Puts planes underground, whatever. Okay. What about Greer's witnesses?
I like them. I want to hear more.
I'm gonna bring somebody because I said this to, I think, to you to Dave and Lee the other night. There was one that stood out for me, and I don't know why. There was just something about him that stood out.
Handsome.
So I'm not going to shit all over. Is
it the skinny guy?
No, it's not. It's not the skinny guy. I mean, he stood out. The guy with the bag stood out because the guy just generally looked like he was he'd just been through some shit. So
did
I mean,
did he anytime ask you to say he would take you to Mordor to get rid of the ring?
Poor guy.
Yeah,
He's seen some shit, man.
Do you know? You reminded me of Kevin Day. Kevin Day. You reminded me of Kevin Day, the guy with the bags under his eyes. But this is not the guy I'm going to play now. But yeah, this. I mean, this guy could be full of shit, but I don't think Greer can pay actors that are that good to act like that.
Can I ask a question though? Right? Why are all these people dead monotone and depressed?
They're hanging out with Greer.
Just gonna say that. Fair. But do you know what I mean? Like, at least you can say what you want about David Fravor, but like there was a sparkle in his eye talking about this. Like, I've seen something fantastic, and now I get to speak about this.
Yeah,
these guys are fucking monotone. I'm convinced the old guy that's on it at some point says, I've had a senior moment, and then sort of stumbles a bit and says, I need to go now. I think he forgot his lines. I think he lost where he was in his story.
I recognize him as well. Has he come on before with Greer?
I
think he has. I could be wrong on that one, but I think he was on the last one. But yeah, this guy.
Hours. That was Raytheon, my friend DC Long.
I promise mine's going to be much quicker than some of these other guys, and this is the way I talk. So I apologize for that as well. Everyone that I've met here, I would love to go through every name. I would love to go through every situation. What these gentlemen have, we could spend years talking about it, just getting to all the moments and everything that meant the most to us. And unfortunately, I have a very short amount of time to do that. My military service began in 1997 and it stretched to 2013 until I was medically retired, injuries received in a combat jump. Ironically enough, the quick story that I'm going to tell you guys has virtually nothing to do with my military career until it got to the very end of the story. Long story short, my father grew up as a contractor. That was his entire life.
Shall I take it to the bit?
Could I hear the whole thing? I haven't seen this.
Can I just point out the bit at the beginning where he says he talks about the guys and then he rubs his nose? Is that not an indicator he's lying?
He's not a body language guy.
Or
he did some coke.
I was just going to say, or he's just now a line.
Yeah, he sniffed it up.
Mm.
That's a few of these guys. This guy and the guy with the bags under his eyes.
Who's the guy that talks about Antarctica? Because he's quite interesting.
He's the guy after this, yeah.
Right. He's quite interesting.
Well, could we listen? Could we watch them all and just?
It's on for like 2 hours hidden.
Yeah, we could play bits of it. Obviously, Stephen, I'll put it in the description for you because we don't want you.
So can I ask a quick question before we roll it? Then I'm just interested now.
Yeah.
How much airtime did Greer give himself?
About an hour.
More than these guys, and that's my criticism massively. If Greer just do you know what? If Greer just stood up and said, "We've got these guys here to tell the story," and he gave each one, and then let people, whoever was there, I think Cambion pointed out they didn't think much press was there because at the end he says, "Has anybody got a question from the press?" And like nobody's really speaking, and then there's a few mumbles from the background. But I think if you
There was no major press there at all. There wasn't even local press. I think it was a couple of bloggers, and that's it.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
And don't forget people that paid like $5,000 for a ticket because you could pay yourself in there.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I think the cheapest you could get in was $500.
No, that was into the thing, but into this room here, it was in the thousands.
They did a Q&A afterwards, and I haven't watched it all, I've just seen the bit where Greer does a lot of the talking, and I'm just wondering, does he let any of those guys speak at all, or do you just answer for them?
Can you imagine how much more credible this whole situation was, and how much better Greer would have looked at the beginning of this, is if he'd just stood up, welcomed everyone to the National Press Club, like Press Club with a Vengeance, and said, "Well, obviously you're not here to listen to me. I am just the man that has humbly got these people together," and then sat down and let the people speak one after another.
That's basically what he did in the original one, give or take, because he didn't have the grift then. You know, so if he'd done that, if he'd basically looked back at what he'd blooming well done himself on the original Disclosure Press Club thing and copied it beat for beat in terms of the pacing, he probably we wouldn't be slagging the guy off like we are right now.
He does it to himself. That's the most frustrating thing, because he does this to himself.
And that's what really hurts, is that he does it to himself. Just him. And
I mean, he makes himself out to be a pauper, and he's living in a beautiful farm. He supposedly got this absolutely amazing solar farm on it for generating electricity for the house and for the other properties that are on the land. And I mean, the thing's obviously, several $1 million worth of money to buy this place. Maybe it's cheaper over in the US than it would be here, but it's not a cheap property, and it's not a small house. And all his furniture, I mean, none of his furniture is out of IKEA or anything. It's all, antique stuff or hand-built, handcrafted wood. And, it's beautiful, but it costs.
Well, he talks to aliens. He's not getting IKEA furniture.
That's true.
So I've just put the poll out. I think YouTube's broken because I put, do you trust Greer? And 79% out of 74 votes, 79% of people have said no, but 20% have said yes. So where's that 1%? I'm going to put another poll out, people. Do you trust the whistleblowers in Greers? Do you believe?
I think a couple of them have got credible stories, but whether it's true or not, it's just a completely other thing. In the same way that I like Grush's story, but until there's direct proof. But I mean, as Dave pointed out before, Grush is in a great position because he's not going to end up going to jail for some of this stuff. He's only passing on. He's like, the messenger's messenger.
Let's say, do you believe the whistleblowers believe what they are saying?
Maybe some of them. If he could build anything with his hands, he could tear it down and build it again for you. I say with that, and the only reason I bring him up is because my father is how I got tied into this story. As a government contractor on Fort Bragg, he met some people. He got friends with some people in the upper echelons of the military, the tip of the spear. The guys who didn't need the Army Corps of Engineers permission to build anything that they wanted. These people that I met when I was 13 years old. We would go on hunts together. We would go on fishing trips together, riding their planes. They would take us all over the continental U.S. just to enjoy their time together. People that I thought were my friends, that I didn't know that they were in the military until years after I had been in myself. We meet up at 18th Airborne Headquarters by my father's request from me. He asked me if I could help him assist. We didn't know where the project was. We were told that we were going to be met by an escort from the JFK Warfare Center. He shows up. I recognize him as one of my father's friends. I overheard that the place we're going to be going is Range 19. I'd never heard of this place before, hadn't since. They put us in a van, no windows, no partition to the front. So we were joking, what did you say? Because we're taking you to Leavenworth. We show up at Range 19. The only thing that was directly in front of me looked like a bunker, 45 degree inches from a concrete bunker, covered in trash. Looked like an actual dump. We open up, there's another escort, and they're waiting on us. They take us to a freight elevator. We take the elevator down. At that time, we were instructed,
Keep your heads down, keep your eyes on the heels of the men in front of you, or you'll be fired upon. I've heard plenty of instances of military jargon. People like to jibe each other. I didn't take it as a joke, but I knew enough to just do what he told me to. I didn't want to risk it. As soon as the freight elevator opened, the first thing that I could see were a few personnel connexes to the right in a large hangar, maybe twice, 3 times the size of the area that we're in now. There was a monolithic slab directly in front of me that was being held up by nothing. The closer that I got to this slab, I felt an intense vibration inside of my body. I never felt anything like that before in my life, never anything since, but it left no sound. The loudest thing in that room was the silence and the footfalls of the people in front of and behind me. As I got closer, my natural Southern curiosity took over. Oh, my shoes are untied. So I go down just to take a peek. And there's absolutely nothing up underneath this monolithic slab that if I had to estimate would be well over 100 tons. Absolutely nothing holding it up. You can see by the picture, there's another boulder directly behind it. It was flat on the ground. There were 2 other people beside it. I could only see heels and feet. To the right, you could see what looked like a boulder. And all 3 of these that I could tell had this box on top that was black with spires that came off, and I couldn't tell where it was connected, but it obviously had something to do with the levitation. The one to the right was being spun by the personnel that you can see in the picture.
Just pause that a second, Ollie.
From my knees,
how they
escort
built the
needed me in the back,
pyramid.
said, "Let's go."
What I was going to say is, if that is an accurate representation of what that guy saw, that does look an awful lot like the granite supposed coffin, which isn't a coffin in the Great Pyramid. You know, the huge sarcophagus.
Rose granite.
That looks like Strat's work again, but I think
it's all Strat's work.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm just if he's done a good enough job to creating a representation of what that guy saw, that's what that looks like to me.
But whatever Strat wants to draw to what this guy's telling him is not kind of like, I get what you're saying, but he's drawing it. So
yeah, but you, for all we know,
I never take, when someone says the artist's impression of what somebody else have described.
Yeah, I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt. For all we know, your man drew 50 different pictures, and your guy kept sending it back saying, no, it was a little low to the ground. No, it was more boxy than that. No, it wasn't metal. You know, for all we know, there was loads of pictures in it, and then that one came and said, no, that's exactly what it is. That's where I saw.
82 of you in now, guys. You know what to do. Hit that thumbs up, and get
Rock
sharing
in.
it. Get sharing it. Get
Rock
sharing it.
in.
And yeah,
Rock
yeah. There you go, Hidden. There you go.
Rock it, baby.
Right. Okay.
It's more interesting. I was just going to say the story's more interesting than the artwork because again, it's dodgy, but
stairs to our appointed place to take measurements for an underground firing facility for a live fire range. Excuse me. When it was all said and done, less than 15-20 minutes later, we make our way back to the surface through the same hangar that we had noticed the monolithic slabs and boulders, and there was absolutely nothing there. There was no noise for anyone taking anything out. It was one flight down to our appointed place, but you could still hear that there was nothing going on in the facility that we were in. We make our way out. We get back in the van, and they take us back to 18th Airborne Headquarters so we can retrieve our telephones, our IDs. Something was said to my father, and they retrieved all of the notes that were taken. Everything that he had that he recorded from whenever we were downstairs, they took it from him. I didn't think much of it. I go back upstairs, help him wrap up in the G5 war room. And it was at that time, there was a gentleman sitting at the desk. Everyone was cleared out. And he had 2 pieces of paper. Said, I need you to sign this NDA. Absolutely not. You know, we didn't so much take it as a joke, but we just didn't feel like the things that we had witnessed, although I did realize it was something that I never should have seen in my life. We weren't going to sign it. Didn't think anything of it. I leave. I get a call the next day, less than 24 hours later. Hey, man, you need to come down. We're trying to go to work, and everything's locked up. Everything's gone. Everything that my father had worked for, from the time that I was a child until I became a man, became a soldier, and the company that had my name on it, everything was seized. Absolutely everything was seized. The pencils that he would use to make bid submittals to the Army Corps of Engineers was even taken because it contributed from the business. Everything was taken. I can't illustrate that point enough. My father went from being a very humble millionaire to absolutely broke, bankrupt, and destitute in 24 hours.
There should
I
be a
tried
paper
to
trail
I
for
wish
that.
I could tell you more about how much I love this man, not just because I have his name, not just because he's my father, but he was my best friend. He led me through every battle when I came home to let me know that it was okay to feel the things that I felt. This man and I, we were always together. The only thing that could separate us was the deployments and the uniform that I wore. When I got done with my fight, I found my father. When I was scared, I found my father, etc. This man that was my best friend looked me in the eye when I found him again and said, hey, man, do you think this had something to do with Range 19? Please pardon my language. My father looks at me and says, don't you ever fucking bring that up to me again. That was the last time that I heard my father's voice in this life. That was the last time that we ever had any peaceful interaction, and that was as peaceful as it got. Shortly after, I continue on, and we had a JFEX. Any of my old paratroopers, they know what that is. It's a jump field training exercise, battalion wide. It's a big deal. There's only 12 men in my stick, getting ready to go out of the bird. I'm the first man looking at the horizon, waiting for the jump master to give me the signal. His hand's raised. I notice at the right side, someone coming up to my shoulder, and it's one of the escorts, one of the men that I knew personally from the time I was a child till I was a man and a soldier. He hooks up, he looks at me, gives me a wink. I didn't think much of it. To me, there was no danger at that point. Green light goes off, I get a hit in my back, and then something hits me in the side of the face, and it's a static line. The gentleman to my right, the man that I knew, threw his static line.
What's the what's the static line?
It's a line that's attached to the parachute. They don't pull it. They jump out and it pulls for them.
Right.
Yeah.
So he pulled it so maybe he could fly into the engine. Oh, he's going to tell you. Shut up, man. Shut up.
And it snapped my neck. I go to fall out of the aircraft, deploy my combat pack, full oscillation. The only thing that I heard after that was the sound that my body made when it broke. When I woke up a month later, I was told that I was not fit to be a Ranger. I was not fit to be airborne. I wasn't fit to be a soldier. My career was effectively over.
Pause it a sec, Ollie.
Even throughout all this time.
Dave, would a static line do that? Because I know it's like they're under tension, but they're not that big.
Could.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like he's leaving a lot of things out of the story. The thing that's the strangest to me is that there's a dude, as he says, on his stick. Like the guy comes and clicks in behind him. Like you're on a plane. You didn't notice this guy.
Yeah. Plus,
he
you
said
check
it was
each other's shirts.
he said it was his friend.
Yeah, but he didn't notice him. He said he just noticed as he clicked in behind him. And then the other thing he says is they had him sign the NDA afterwards. If they're going somewhere that you're going to see stuff, you sign it before, you don't go.
Yeah.
And if you do see something while you're there and you refuse to sign the NDA, they will compulsory. Like there's not just like, oh, okay, go on your way. There's dudes in suits with guns and badges, and there's threatening. And
I'd also argue that if he saw something he shouldn't have seen, and he wouldn't sign the NDA, if you're willing to go to the lengths of like destroying his father's livelihood and then waiting till he's gonna jump out of a plane to try and kill him, you'd have probably just killed him.
No, I'll tell you, Dave. That's a very good point he made. He would have had to sign that before. They wouldn't have made him sign it after he came out.
No.
Well, the thing is, like, you can see things by accident, and then they're going to be
Like what he
listen,
did.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's going to a secure underground facility that's fucking secret.
But you see, you talk about some sort of fucking crazy technology that world's ever seen, that human beings have never seen before. You can't tell me that you see something like that, then you get an NDA stuck under your nose, and then you can just choose to go, I'm not signing that, and everyone goes, oh well, we tried, on you go.
The other thing they say is, well, this is a secret facility and you're not actually here.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Dave, I think it's about 2 minutes left of what he says. Is he using the right lingo for somebody who had that sort of job?
Nope. Don't know. I'm not a ranger.
Nah, he's not.
I just get the impression you might know.
I'm a ranger. A 420 ranger. No, I'm playing. I don't know nothing either.
I'm not a ranger, but I've seen enough army stuff to know that he's talking shit.
He was homeless. I didn't know. I just thought he didn't want to talk to me.
If he was a real ranger,
Eventually,
he'd
I
called
ended
in a
up in the same
Megazord to help.
situation. This follows further down the road to about 2 years ago, whenever I finally was saved by someone who I didn't even deserve to hear the sound of their voice. I intentionally grown my hair past my shoulders, my beard down to my stomach. I was 135 pounds just because I was hoping I could hide. I was hoping I could get away from what put me in that position to begin with. I get a phone call. It was 2 years ago. We found Daddy. He's in the hospital. I go down to see my father. He couldn't speak. The man that was 6'4", 240 pounds, a superhero in my eyes, not just because he was my daddy, because he was a tough son of a bitch. He was laying in a hospital bed, 98 pounds. When the people who I encountered after the fact that had actually spent time, excuse me, and got my father out of his homeless situation to help him get back on his feet, to give him the drive, to get back to doing the only thing that he knew how to do was to be a government contractor. They put him back in contact with some of the people that he thought could help him. I can't illustrate this fact enough. In the time span of 3 months, my father went from 6'4", 240 to 98 pounds, dying in a hospital room, and he couldn't even speak because the chemo was burning his lips. I told him, I love you. Don't worry about us. We're square. I'm going to make you proud. Before Dr. Greer and I came in contact with each other, and I'm almost done, I wrote my story, and I entitled it, I'm Afraid to Say. And people have asked me, well, why did you wait so long? I mean, it's obvious why we waited so long to send it. Nobody knows this. My family doesn't know this. Dr. Greer obviously doesn't know this. When I sent that, I was planning on taking my life because they took every damn thing from me. I could handle losing my career. I was willing to die for my country. I was hoping like hell I would. Somehow I survived. And then they tried to take me again. They can have all that. I knew that when I put these around my neck. But my intention was to take my own life because I just couldn't do it anymore. I heard this man's words with Sean Ryan. If good men do nothing, then evil men will prevail. I am damn tired of doing nothing.
Word up, man. Word up.
That's not a ranger tattoo he's got on his arm either.
I didn't see the tattoo on his arm.
It's the same. It's the same one from Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon. When are you a ranger?
So what were you saying, boys? You think...
I'll try, Dave. I'll try it.
Dave was going to say something that stopped. What were you going to say?
Oh, he's full of shit.
You think?
Do you find it corny 100%. As well?
Yeah, he's telling a
hero's journey,
theatric story. Yeah, he's telling the hero's journey. Yeah, he's overcoming because there's things like. So his dad went from homeless and he's going back to being a government contractor. The only thing he ever knew. And government contractor, not in security contractor, but in like I build things contractor. All right, let's just focus on that for a second. the background checks involved with that are unbelievable. Getting on that list is not easy. And you have to show proven work history, all these things. So he's going from home. Excuse me, I just ate. Going from homeless right back to that. He's not doing that. They're not going to let him do anything. He couldn't even get the paperwork going. Like it's a non-starter. And then like his exit from like he really is glossing over his military time there and his exit from it, and he's alluding to the fact that he's a Ranger. And he's just kind of taking this one on the chin and going into hiding. It's not very Ranger-esque. Most of those guys, you know, if they're on the way out, they, you know, start their pistol. They don't just wither away. It just there's other like they just kind of compound. You know, it just doesn't ring true. Just doesn't ring true. Was he in the military? Probably. Has he done a static like Trump? Probably. You know, maybe he was airborne, maybe whatever. Like, he never says he's a Ranger, which is kind of smart because most of those guys really don't do that. And there's always a difference, you know, between Ranger, and Ranger qualified. None of that matters for the point of this conversation. It absolutely matters to them. It just sounds like this fictional, you know, hero overcoming narrative that just sounds like bullshit. It just sounds like bullshit. You know, let's start with the contractor. Okay, you're active duty military and you're still working doing construction during the day with your dad, but it's your business. Okay, maybe you're just muddling things together for the sake of telling the story, whatever. But they're going to let you into a secure facility. They know house things like this, and they're not going to make you sign anything before. Not only that, debrief you. Not only that, know who you are.
But you mentioned accidental. People stumble across things accidentally.
It does happen.
What if the hangar door was just fucking left open?
He was walked through it.
He was walked through it.
That's where I have the problem with the non-disclosure thing. They knew the route they were going to take him. They knew the chances that he would have seen something by accident.
I had to sign NDAs to look at fucking Formula One cars.
Some of the projects I've been involved with, like people, you had to sign an NDA just to get told about it.
Yeah.
You had to sign off before they said, "It's okay. We have an opportunity. Would you like to know about it? You have to sign this paperwork."
I've signed loads of NDAs for software and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's super normal. It always, and in the military, it's super normal. And the fact is, he doesn't need an NDA because he's still in the damn military. They can order him to shut the fuck up. He is property. He is owned. They don't have to have him sign shit.
So that's just one of them. So what? Okay. So what's Greer done to get this guy on board? Has he paid him?
I don't know. Maybe he's no. He's not.
Because you can look at because people will be able to look him up and see his military background.
Will they?
I would have thought so.
Maybe he's some homeless guy from under a bridge. He gave him a sandwich, put him in a shirt, threw him up there. Tell a story.
Well, if he's a homeless guy, he can act well for a homeless guy.
I don't know, man. They got survival instincts.
Not saying a homeless guy can't act. That's wrong.
I'm sure there's
very, very hateful of you, Ollie.
It is that I'm disgusted. I'm sure there's quite a few homeless people in California that have got acting experience.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like a lot of things don't make. So they come in and they seize all of his business, his dad's business, his personal business. Under what grounds? They did it overnight. They took the pencils. What?
That smacks of, Thor, Marvel, Shield.
Yeah, they don't do that, man.
No.
Like, will they harass you with the IRS? Bet your ass.
Yeah, you'll get your ass audited for years.
Forever. They will. And one of the things is they'll deny your military contracting, like for actual doing work, your contractor's credentials. You're out. You're never doing this again. That would be the first step. Second step would be audit. Third step is debank.
Or if they're just really fed up with you, they're just, you meet hit and run accident.
Dude, he's still in the military. Friendly fire happens all the time. Have a training day at the range. Oops.
Yep. Blue on blue.
Oh.
I still can't get past what you brought up. I still can't get past that because simple, mundane things. I've had to sign them too, and that's through work. So, and it's simple, mundane things, and they're taking him to a secret place that they know the route that they're going to walk him through, and they know that they got this thing hovering there. They're not going to get him to sign the form beforehand.
The fact that it's underground, and the thing is, he's very nonchalant. He's like, I saw it, but I just didn't care. Bullshit.
Well, no,
a grain of stone floating in the air.
I'll buy that. No, because he has enough training to know, because he said it himself that they told him to look at the boots. So he had enough training not to react. Just the holy shit.
Yeah, but he didn't even pretend like it was holy shit. He's like, well, it is what it is. I just tie my shoes, kind of look at it, and keep going. Oh my god, it's floating. It's fucking floating. It's fucking floating. Did you see how the Marines reacted when they saw the potential flares over their base and they're all outside filming it?
Yeah.
That's normal soldier reaction. Normal
cool.
Yeah. It doesn't. It's made up.
But all the stories are like that. You can debunk and go through all of them.
Yeah.
And break them down. I mean, have we got time to do the Antarctica guy next?
Let's play a little bit. Why not?
I am gonna have to love you and leave you, boys. I got to run out of here. But
no worries, Dave.
Thanks for having me on, and I'll see you guys for dinner. Hanging out in a few days.
Dave, before we go,
get the slow cooker ready.
On the 21st at noon.
I'm going to talk to you Sunday, Ollie. You know that, right?
I know, yeah, but on the 21st for the audience, for anybody that might want to meet up.
We're going to be at Broadway and 2nd Avenue. We're not going to tell you the exact location. You're going to have to message us. That's for our safety and to make sure someone doesn't want to start trying to call in ridiculous threats to Nashville or anything like that.
David, you're going to send me that snuff stream link.
Oh, you got to pay for it like everyone else. I'll give you the dark web link, though.
Oh, come on. I want discount.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a good one. Yeah. It's going to make those Argentinian girls look pathetic by chance. So, you got to get that meat for the meat pie. All right, boys.
See you in a bit, Dave.
See ya.
Bye, Dave.
Dave.
My dog's behaving tonight. She's actually...
Oh, we can teach Dave friends.
Escape, yeah.
I honestly, I think we should do an in-betweeners day. Give my Dave watching In-Betweeners.
I've never seen it.
What the fuck?
You've never seen In-Betweeners?
No.
Oh, dear.
There we go. You talk about this guy.
You can see it is effectively a multifaceted directed energy weapons platform that I will list rapidly a few things that it can do. Vehicle detection. We're learning that these off-world craft, on-world craft, ours or other nations, are also emitting neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment that nobody's discussing.
Okay, pause them there.
I was just going to say, Stu, before, what's the wording I'm looking for, Stu, for the channel that we're using? Fair use from blah blah blah.
Yeah. Cambion thing's good. It's fair use. We're educating the public about whatever.
It's commentary. We're talking about it. It's news.
Yeah, we are. I mean, it is fair use. But see, one thing, if you take it back ever so slightly to the photo of the place he was at. Yeah, there. Right. See that thing there? I don't know what it's called, but it's the US's basically main base in Antarctica.
I'll just do a reverse Google image of it.
Might even be McMurdo Station or something. But anyway, there are at least 3 TikTokers who you can go and search for on TikTok right now who work at that place. And one of them, who I believe was the medic, gave us a very extensive tour over several TikToks of the place.
Whoa.
And that guy is talking shit, because it was during the time when the base was like in darkness for like 6 months of the year, and they cut the amount of staff that are on site, and he basically got the run of the place and toured the whole facility. Yes, there were some rooms that he didn't get into, but there's nothing like what he's talking about.
Listen, you need a higher clearance.
Which room did he not get into?
Presented as its primary purposes, and unfortunately, much more. The IceCube neutrino detector is presented as a passive listening device for the purposes of the science as presented. But I'm going to skip right through the chase, folks. I have provided documentation that proves that the 5,160, what they call DOMs, that are embedded in the ice can actually transmit at 2,047 volts each. That gives us a long list of things to consider. It is effectively a multifaceted directed energy weapons platform that I will list rapidly a few things that it can do. Vehicle detection. We're learning that these off-world craft, on-world craft, ours or other nations, are also emitting neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment that nobody's discussing. In addition to the ability to detect neutrinos and the exotic vehicles, I have provided documentation that shows that this is also a system for faster than light communications. In the past, Gary McKinnon has hacked NASA, found the off-world fleet. The list of IceCube neutrino detector is presented.
What did you say there?
Neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment that nobody's discussing.
Is he saying that this place emits neutrinos?
Neutrinos and the exotic vehicles. I have provided documentation.
No, he's saying that the vehicles do.
Faster than light communications.
He's provided He's provided documentation, proof.
What, those drawings?
I hope it's not the drawings because.
Hold on, I'm going to put something in the private chat for you.
Hacked NASA, found the off-world fleet, the list of captains, and it's apparent that if we have faster than light vehicles moving throughout the system, we're going to need faster than light communications. This is
Gary McKinnon. Lee, who's that now?
That's the dude that was hacked NASA.
Going to be extradited. We spoke about trying to hustle him onto the show before.
Yeah.
Ollie, I'm putting a link into the private chat. You can call up next. It's the website for the IceCube Neutrino Observatory, and it pretty much tells you what it actually does. There you go.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
Stewards for them, you know. Honestly, you know.
I'm going to have to do a day. I'm going to have to disappear, I'm afraid.
You have to disappear, mate. No worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
I know we're coming to the end now anyway.
Oh, God, yeah, it's 1 hour, 40 minutes.
Bye-bye, guys.
Mate. Bye-bye, mate.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Right, here we go.
I clicked this end broadcasting, yeah?
Yeah, that's the one.
Bye, everybody.
I've actually got a leave studio button now that I never had before.
Right, this one.
Yeah. What's that?
Go on then.
Well, if you click on the About Us, and then IceCube Overview, the IceCube Neutrino Observatory is the first detector of its kind designed to observe the cosmos from deep within the South Pole.
IceCube Overview.
Yeah.
Does that change? Does that change the page?
That's it. Yep. Perfect. An international group of scientists responsible for the scientific research makes up the IceCube collaboration, encompassing a cubic kilometer of ice. The IceCube searches for nearly massless subatomic particles called neutrinos. These high-energy astronomical messengers provide information to probe the most violent astrophysical sources, events like exploding stars, gamma-ray bursts, and cataclysmic phenomena involving black holes and neutron stars. This is the place that they effectively use to confirm gravity waves that they always go on about with Bob Lazar. Because the LIGO, there's two LIGO observatories, and then there's this place, and they basically can do similar things, but it's it's quite. If you actually go through the site, there's like loads of pictures, and it's quite open as to what they do and how they do it, how they drill, and all that kind of stuff. So, what the hell he's talking about? It would be a strange one to basically. It's a detector. There's even construction photos. It'd be a strange one to basically do what he's doing right now.
I'd like to understand the behavior of the neutrinos then, because he's saying, which is a kind of interesting point, is that they move faster than the speed of sound.
No, light.
Light.
That actually is true. They did actually detect, because I remember reading about it. They did actually detect neutrinos that effectively broke the laws of physics as we know it and moved faster than light.
Wow.
And that was only in the last like 4 or 5 years they discovered that. They're still working that one out to how it can happen.
Harness it, or I don't. But if he's saying they can use it for some sort of telecommunication, but they can also detect spaceships. Which
but if you play it further, he goes on to go on about how it causes earthquakes and stuff like that.
Well, what is the behavior of the neutrinos again then?
Where am I clicking?
But see, right now, hidden, there are neutrinos flying through your body right this moment.
And I can feel them.
Yeah.
That bastards.
Everybody gets hit by neutrinos every minute of the day, 24/7, 365, the whole of your life until you leave the Earth. They fly through the planet. That's why they've got this detector in the ice. It's just a cosmic ray that can penetrate the
everything.
Yeah, it just goes through everything at all times. We're used to it. It's part of the makeup of the planet.
So why have it out in the ice then?
It's because they are difficult to actually detect, to actually just narrow down and read neutrinos. They need somewhere that's cold, dark, quiet, basically.
So those 6 months out of the year is ideal.
Yeah, I think so.
Saying, because as conspiracy theorists, you know, we're talking the Antarctica, and a lot of conspiracy theorists like, what the fuck's going on in Antarctica? So they're like, well, they're telling us this does this, but so I get that bit.
Yeah, I do too. I do. I mean, I get the whole, you know, there is.
We've got articles for them telling. So I'm a little bit on the side of the conspiracy theories because I am a bit of a conspiracy theorist myself. You know, I don't trust everything that I'm being told. So I do get that bit, but I also get the science bit because I know people who know science. You know.
The thing is, there's loads of science communicators on social media these days that you can literally reach out to and ask them questions. There's tons of people.
But the interesting thing when you said play the bit from the guy with Antarctica, because Antarctica is one of the things that I always ask questions about Antarctica and think, what the fuck's going on in Antarctica? You know, why is there a treaty with every fucking country that we can't, you know, just wander into Antarctica and do a mosey on down? Is it just to protect us so we don't fucking freeze to death or get eaten by a fucking polar bear?
Well, that's the misconception that you can't just wander into Antarctica.
So you can just go if you want.
There's cruises go down there and they take people.
Okay, so can we then just like do his own thing? Let's just.
You could, if you had the financial resources, you could take a ship from Hobart, south of Australia, all the way to Antarctica, park yourself up in one of the many bays because they do not have that whole continent wired. You could literally hike. I can hike across all the mountains. I mean, Antarctica is fucking bigger than Australia, I believe, or it's similar in size. It's a massive landmass. There's no way that they're going to, you know, you might be unlucky in that, you know, like a French or Norwegian research ship goes by and it's like, who the fuck's that? You know, who's parked up there? And then they might challenge you, or they'll challenge the ship to why you're there.
Have you ever looked at Google Earth?
Yeah, I've had a good look around it. It's really fascinating.
So if you look, here's the bit I don't get with Google Earth. We can see all around the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to Antarctica, you get the whole. Obviously, Google Earth is just a wrapped image to make a globe. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. They wrap all loads of photographs. It's just fucking loads of photos all fucking
stitched together. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at certain areas on Google Earth, you get this like an overlap, and then it will correct itself because it realizes, oh fuck, he's looking here.
Yeah,
we'll correct it. Yeah. When you go to the middle of Antarctica, you've just got this fucking massive bumhole. You know, it's just all fucking stretched out, and it doesn't correct it. But it doesn't correct. Why does it not correct itself at all? Why do we not get any image at all of?
There is a simple reason. The satellites that are geospatially arranged that fly around the Earth that take these photos have a certain orbit, and the very south of the planet is just not somewhere they're interested in.
That just seems so fucking convenient to me.
It does.
Oh, I mean, it does. But I mean, a good chunk of the photos that you see in Google Earth are actually captured by plane. And then, you know, I think even Google has drones that, you know, depending how far in, you know, the resolution you go to. But you've got to remember, Antarctica, and I'm not sticking up, I do think there's shady things go on in Antarctica. But what I'm saying is, it's a massive landmass. To fly from one corner to the other is hours and hours and hours of, you know, flight time.
Planes can go over Antarctica.
Oh yeah, they do. I mean,
so reverse there, Stu. Then slightly reverse, because you just fucking said something, and I know we're on the Greer train here, but this is interesting because when you get conspiracy theorists that'll speak about Antarctica, and you get a lot of flat earthers out there. They'll say, "Well, it's flat. That's for you. There's a fucking wall there. That's why they don't want to." Or you get other people say, "Well, Admiral Byrd was right, and there's a massive hole, and it's you going in at Earth." Yeah, you get all that stuff. Now, I'm not about any of that. I just want a picture of it. I just want a picture of it, and they could fake a picture of it very easily because it's fucking just white. But they don't.
Yeah, those huge swathes that are literally miles of ice.
Yeah, they just show the spread out cameras all going everywhere. But if a plane can fly over it and take pictures of it, and I'll be honest with you, it's been about a year since I looked at the center of Antarctica.
But I think you've just answered your own question as well.
There's no picture of the center.
Yeah, it's pretty featureless though.
Yeah, but you still get the bumhole. You still get the spread out fucking.
Yeah, I think that's partly to do with the way the actual Google Earth thing is made up.
Well, they need to get rid of the bumhole because
it costs a lot of money to put planes in the air and to move satellites about to take photos.
Yeah, but just to stop the flat earthers or stop the fucking Admiral Byrders.
Yeah, but the flat earthers think that the Antarctica, you know, rings the planet, and you know there's a big fucking 11-mile high ice wall and all that bullshit, which only ever started getting talked about after Game of Thrones came on in 2011. But no, I get what you're saying. There isn't enough detail there, and what detail that is there of like the mountain ranges and stuff like that is piss poor. That's why you get people like Tyler at Secure Team saying, "Oh, look, this frozen lake's actually a UFO." When the image, I mean, he used classic for that.
That was like one of my first debunks.
Yeah, it's like, get real. It's a literally, we're going through climate change. It's literally a part of the planet that's just melting. You know, you're getting a lake appear.
Jennifer, thank you so much for the super chat. Which area did the Pope enter etc., enter Antarctica? I have no idea.
You said it, though. You said it, though. You said it. The bumhole.
the bumhole.
Yeah, no, I mean they all, I think, mainly congregate. They're not like the west side of Antarctica because it's like close to Argentina and the Falklands and South Georgia and all that kind of stuff. But when you get down to that part of the world, it's literally the bottom of the planet. So west, east, north, south kind of becomes a bit moot because it is the bottom of the planet. But I mean, it's a massive landmass. People just do not appreciate how goddamn big it is.
So, Stu Hidden, I know we've not got the other boys with us now, so I definitely want to stay on the Greer thing.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Did you guys, do you believe the guys believe what they're saying, or do you think there's some actors there that have been paid or whatever?
No, I think Greer has found people that believe what they say, whether the stories are true, whether they're not true, whether the people have got mental health issues. And
so they're already massively on the Greer train, and he's like invited them. Like,
I mean, if you see the Q&A part of it, there's not much online, but there's a few people have got like the Q&A. I mean, the people that are in that audience, they're hardcore followers. So they are hardcore followers. My dog's starting to kick off.
I didn't get to see the audience. We didn't see that.
It was a decent sized audience. I mean, let's just put it this way: if it really is $5,000 per head, dude's got bank. I mean, he's made a good. I mean, it's something like $3,000 to hire that room for a day, plus extras. So I mean,
why no, Joe? No, I mean, for me, it didn't seem like there was any journalists there. There was no news companies there. It didn't seem like that.
That's why Greer, when he was speaking with Blake, said, "Oh, the CIA controls the media. They told them not to come." That quote he's talking about from William, is it Colby or Boyd or something? The guy who was the director of the CIA, he didn't actually say that quote. It comes from a book that an ex-CIA operative wrote. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but he gets misquoted all the time as saying that quote. And it's a true quote. I mean, for many years, the CIA and other three-letter organizations within the US have infiltrated and paid off journalists and editors and stuff like that. I mean, that is very true. And it happens here in the UK as well. I mean, there's probably a good proportion of journalists in what was Fleet Street that will maybe not receive money, probably some will, but they'll certainly get access to stories that they would normally get because they play the game. And the game is, what they call it, spiking a story when they need to. So if MI5 or MI6 doesn't want something coming out, and this is me speaking as an ex-press photographer here, physically seeing this stuff, they spike stories, they kill the stories. Because I was sent on many job to go and photograph something, and you would go out and you would literally be sitting in a car for like 3 days, pissing into bottles and all the rest of it, get photos that you need, come back, only to find that the story's been spiked because basically like a D notice has been placed on it, or somebody's called in from Whitehall and basically said, we don't want that story running. And because the editors will hang on for a juicier story, they usually give them something in return. Whether it's Philip Schofield or whatever, they always have something in the bank waiting so they can say, "Nah, here, you can't run this story, but run this story." And that happens all over media, all over the world.
So 53% believe the whistleblowers in Greer's.
Again, my problem I have with that guy is the thingy.
Well, there's other whistleblowers, obviously.
Do not disclose. That's
Dave raised a really good point with that one. He actually nailed it in the head. He really
did. That's what I mean. I can't get past that.
I
can't get past that.
Yeah, I'm going to clip that. Don't worry. I actually took a note at the time, but no, definitely. And the thing is, if you go through the stories, you could probably do that for all of them. Because, I mean, I did a wee bit of work, consultancy work for the British Navy a long, long time ago. And you should have seen the paperwork I had to sign before I got anywhere near Faslane Naval Base. It was like that thick of documents and just like Official Secrets Act. And a courier came and they said when they were coming back, and I had to read it all, sign every bit I had to sign, initial other bits, and then he came and picked it back up. And as far as I know, that still stands, that Official Secrets Act thing.
I worked for an office that was contracted by the government. So when I first walked into that job, when I first got the job, you sign your contracts.
Yeah.
I signed that contract, a stack of papers. I signed it in one of those, because I looked at them all, and in one of those was the Official Secrets Act. And like I said to my friend, what have we walked into? And he didn't even realize. I said, we signed the Official Secrets Act. What are we doing? But it was mundane.
See, when you actually, I've only been to a couple of like bases. One was for like literally open to the public air show, where the bases are a lot less locked down than it normally would be. But even at that, you're directed to where you need to go to watch the planes and all that kind of stuff. But like going up to Faslane, which obviously is where the British have their nuclear submarines. Oh my God, it is a culture shock. It really is. The security is phenomenal. They really have everything buttoned down, and like I had to I don't know how many times I get searched, and like one of these wand thing waved over my body to check I wasn't carrying anything. The metal detector, the handheld metal detector thing. And like they took your DNA as well. I've got my DNA logged somewhere. God knows where. But no, fingerprints. You get fingerprints taken as well. And they took every bit of information, your car details, your VIN number, how much mileage was in your car. I'm not joking you. It was insane the amount of information they took off me. And all to get access to, and even when I did go onto one of the submarines, it was to do with, basically at that point, they were still working with older submarines and they were retrofitting digital cameras onto the submarines. So I was basically sent there on behalf of Fuji to help these guys put Fuji S1 Pros and S2 Pros onto their periscopes. But when I was actually taken down into the submarine, like I was literally taken to where I needed to be. I had to work with what I had, and I was told not to look around. And then they escorted me back off the submarine afterwards. And we had a nice lunch in the mess hall. So we did. But at no point, even when I needed the toilet, did somebody leave me. I had somebody follow me to the toilet.
Allegedly.
And I think, and I think partly that's to do with the fact there's a lot of dangerous shit on these places. You can hurt yourself badly if you just.
But there's always the chances. There's always the chances that you could have turned left instead of right and see something there that you shouldn't see.
But see, it was a long time.
That's why you had to sign the non-disclosure order.
It was a long time ago now, but it was the mid-2000s that I went and did this. And it was good fun and it was exciting and all that kind of stuff. In the same way that when I went and photographed the guy at the nuclear power station, not quite as strict a security, but still very strict. I'd never been in a nuclear power station before. So that, that's the one thing that as a photographer or journalist and that, it is cool that you get access to places that, generally speaking, the public don't get access to. But when it comes to these guys and what they've been saying and all the rest of it, my bullshit meter is on high. It really, really is.
Well,
and I think Dave's right.
That guy, they nailed it. He nailed it. Yeah.
They would not let him anywhere near.
Do you think Greer's just fed in? So these guys aren't being paid, but they have just literally
Greer's, they got a good steak dinner.
Greer's
they're going to be able to jump on the UFO conference, trail, they'll be able to be a speaker and get paid to go and speak at these UFO conferences now because they've done that. So they'll get money off the back of it in some way, shape, or form. He might have given them a stipend or just some kind of, spending money while they're up there. I don't know what budget he had for it, but I would be shocked just the way he operates. I would be shocked if he paid.
So with that, let's go back to the guy who I don't even know if Hidden's seen this guy.
Gonna have to go soon, mate.
Yeah. I'm literally. Let's go, another 5 minutes and we're gonna go shoot off anyway. But the guy with the bags underneath is
yeah, he didn't look well. We'll call him.
Yeah, he didn't. He looked like he'd been through shit. He looked like he'd been through hell and back.
And he had a shirt and a suit on that looked like it had been bought for him because it looked as if it was like maybe 1 or 2 sizes too big.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've got a lot of respect for people who do a job for the country. That's the thing they do. This guy, he just looked like he had the worst fucking experience of his life. But when I listened to it, I thought this guy's full of shit because he was reading. So when I listened to it, because that was my first experience with this Greer presentation. Was I was driving and I just played it and I thought, this guy's just reading stuff, and every so often he's doing deep sighs.
They had teleprompters. You see it in third phases stuff. There's like a central bit. So maybe he was on teleprompter. I don't know.
But when I looked at the guy, I'm like, fuck me, that guy he looks like he's been through hell and back. I mean,
I don't know where he got them.
But here's the thing that I can't get, because if Greer's paid these guys, which I don't know if that's what he's done, but if he's paid them to do this, he's paid actors or whatever.
They will have signed an NDA so they can't screw Greer over.
How do you get away with that though? How do you get away with lying? Because
that's why I think they haven't lied. I think they believe what they're saying.
Yes.
I think Greer's found them, and I think they believe what they're saying. Whether that's through they know they're lying, whether that's through they think that what the story's true, or they have a mental health issue.
Must get in touch with Greer saying, "I've got a story for you. I've got something." Blah 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 blah. And then he listens to it and is like, "That's the thing." Whether he believes them or not, he goes, "These are the guys."
He must get thousands, because I tell you why. I'm only new to UFOs this year with you guys, right? I've been on the show, I don't know, a dozen times or something now. I have literally got sitting in my email inbox right now 2 potential UFO pictures, which I haven't even showed you guys yet, because at the end of the day, they're not very good. I will share it with you.
I get them as well.
You get them all the time. So I'm new to this, and I am now getting UFO pictures.
I do look at all of them, so send them in.
There's one that's interesting. There is one that's
nobody sends any to me. Send them to me too.
I don't know why, Hidden, because you would obviously do a video about them. So
I know why, Hidden. You need to advertise your email. You need to advertise your email more.
It's in my
my emails are on my YouTube channel, so it's dead easy to send me
put it
stuff
on the screen like that.
Yeah,
people are visual. Bang it on the screen at the end. Just put your email. If you got footage, send it in. Boom.
Anyway, I am gonna have to shoot because
I'm shooting as well, mate. I'm shooting as well. Other shows are about to start now. I try not to over tread my mark, so to speak. But yeah, the next time you'll see us, we're not going to do the show on Monday, but we're going to do the show on. Sorry, we're not going to do the show on Sunday. But we're doing a show on Monday where Lee will be
sat there and you'll be standing next to him.
I'll be standing here, and he'll be sat in Captain Kirk's seat. Yeah.
Okay.
I may sit on his shoulders. I think that might be a good look.
Or are you going to nick one of the kids' seats?
Yeah, you got me there. You got me there. Boys,
Right.
thank you so much.
I'm gonna scoop.
Stu, I'll catch you later, mate.
Yep. Heading. I'll catch you on Monday.
All right, man.
Okay. Cheers, guys.
Good night. God bless people. Mind
Ta-ra.
the bugs, don't bite. Hit that thumbs up on the. If you made it this far, even if you think I'm an arsehole, we're an arsehole.
Just everyone in the chat.
Yeah. See you later, Stu, mate. Love you, man.
Cheers.
Hit that thumbs up. That's what we need. The thumbs up.
Hello? Go ahead.
I just removed myself there. Hayden, I'll speak to you in a second. The thumbs up helps the channel out. So if you've made it this far, you're not a subscriber, bang that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, share it out to a mate who might be into the subject to go, or a mate that might be like on the different wavelength to you, because I think here at Alien Addict we try to keep it a bit like, I'll look at the for, I'll look at the against, whatever. At the end of the day, we're all conspiracy theorists, whether you want to believe you are one or not. Good night. Where's my freaking intro? Thank you.